Hi guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rebecca. Today we're going to be doing some food preservation. We're going to do some water bath canning of a homemade spicy pizza sauce. This is a robust pizza sauce recipe that's great for pizza night. If you watched my video on how to prepare tomatoes using the KitchenAid Stand Mixer food mill attachment, you'll know that I had a bunch of tomato puree from that project. So today I'll be using 6 quarts of that tomato puree to do a 3 times recipe of my homemade spicy pizza sauce. So let's head to the kitchen so we can do some water bath canning and make this pizza sauce. So here on the counter I have 6 quarts worth of tomato puree that I'm going to be adding to my Nesco roaster. I have my 6-quart roaster oven today that I'm going to be using for this. This is really going to fill it up. So what I'm going to do is cook down that tomato sauce first, and then once I have room to add the rest of the ingredients, then I'll add that in and continue to cook it down. Now I like pizza sauce nice and thick, so this takes quite a while to cook down. So what I'll do is let this cook down and simmer for about 2 hours, then we'll come back and add the rest of the ingredients at that point. So first let's get the 6 quarts of tomato puree into the Nesco oven. Alright, so here we have 6 quarts of the tomato puree, or 3 times the recipe for our spicy tomato sauce. Now you could also use a Dutch oven or a stock pot if you wanted to cook this on your stovetop, but when I do large batches of tomato sauce or pizza sauce or things like this, I like to use my Nesco roaster ovens. So now what I'm going to do is put the cover on, and that'll just help to bring this large quantity of liquid up to a boil so that it can start to simmer and evaporate so that this will cook down in volume. Once it begins to simmer, I can remove the cover, and that'll help with that evaporation process as well. So now we're just going to let this cook for a couple hours so the volume comes down enough so we can add the rest of the ingredients for making our spicy pizza sauce. Alright, so our sauce base has been cooking off for about an hour and a half. So now I'm going to add some seasonings and the rest of the ingredients so that we can continue to cook this down to make our spicy pizza sauce. So to this I'm going to add a little acid. So per batch I do 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm doing 3 times a batch, so I'm going to do 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And this is the brand lemon juice that I like to use when I'm canning. Next I'll add 2 tablespoons of sugar per batch. So 6 tablespoons of sugar. And 1 tablespoon of minced garlic per batch, so 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Then I'll add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder per batch, so 3 teaspoons of garlic powder. Let me stir those ingredients in here. Then we'll add 3 teaspoons of oregano per batch, so 9 teaspoons of oregano. I'll stir that in. Then we'll add 1 teaspoon of onion powder per batch, so 3 teaspoons of onion powder. And 2 to 3 teaspoons of a canning salt per batch. So I'm going to start with 2 teaspoons per batch. You can always add more later. And 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper per batch. I'm going to do just 1.5 to start, because again we can always add more. This is smelling wonderful already here. Now to bring some heat, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes per batch. So to start, I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons. This will be a nice spicy pizza sauce. And something that I like to add to my pizza sauce if I'm doing a spicy or real robust recipe is I'm going to add some balsamic vinegar. So I do 1 tablespoon per batch of a balsamic vinegar. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. And that'll give some nice richness to this pizza sauce that'll really come out as this continues to cook down. So now I'm just going to stir all the ingredients together real well and I'll allow this to cook down. Again, pizza sauce I like to have nice and thick, so this is going to take a number of hours to come down to the consistency that we'll enjoy on our pizzas. So let's continue to cook it down until the volume decreases by probably at least half, if not 2/3. So we'll come back for the next step, which will be to get this into canning jars because we're going to be water bath canning our spicy pizza sauce. Alright, our homemade spicy pizza sauce has finished cooking down. It's cooked down to about half of the volume and it's nice and thick and robust in flavor, and I'm really looking forward to using this for making pizzas. And this also makes a really nice spicy marinara type sauce for dipping mozzarella sticks or other appetizers. So off to the side I have 1/2 pint jars, and we're going to fill these prepared canning jars to a 1/2 inch headspace, which is about halfway up the side threads. You can also use a headspace measuring tool, which has a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch measurements that you can put on the side of the jar, and it will tell you your headspace measurement. And the other end is an air bubble removing part that you can slide down the side of the jar that you're filling, and it'll help remove any air bubbles that may have formed while you were filling those jars. So we like to can and have our pizza sauce in 1/2 pint jars. That makes a nice saucy pizza, or maybe 2 homemade pizzas with that. You can also do little 4-ounce jars, and that works nice if you're having an appetizer, and you can just take out a tiny little jar and have that as a dipping sauce for that particular appetizer. So we'll see how many 8-ounce jars this fills. And if I have a little bit left, I can always add a 4-ounce jar to finish up this batch. I have my water bath canner heating up and getting ready to go. So now I'll grab that headspace measuring tool, and on the other end is that air bubble removing tool. And just slide that down on the sides and throughout the middle. You can give it a little stir if you want. It'll just help bring any air bubbles that may have formed while filling that jar up to the surface. Now I just have a paper towel that I moistened with some water. I'm just going to wipe down the rim and the side threads of the canning jar, and that'll just help to ensure a nice seal, and it'll keep the ring that we put on later a little bit cleaner, because you can reuse the ring for other canning projects. By wiping that side thread down and removing any food debris that may be on there, it helps to keep them a little bit cleaner and prevent some of that rust that sometimes likes to show up on those rings. Alright, and I have my water bath canner heating up as we're doing this process. So all I need to do is get these lids and rings on, and then we can get them into the canner. So first I'll put the lid on, followed by the ring, and just get that finger tight. Alright, so we have 10 half-pint jars of homemade spicy pizza sauce. Let's get these into the water bath canner. Alright, here we have the water bath canner. It's all heated up and ready to go. So let me get the lid off here. Double check the temperature. Looks good. We'll get our jars of spicy pizza sauce into the canner. Now at the bottom of this water bath canner, I have a jar rack, so I'm able to put these jars right on there. And the canner is filled with water so that at least an inch of water covers these jars. They're a little bit smaller jars, so there's plenty of room over the top of these. I'll get this lid back on here. And the minimum processing time for pint or half pint jars of the spicy pizza sauce is 35 minutes. If you were to do quart jars, it would be a minimum of 40 minutes. And what I mean by the minimum processing time is based on your altitude in feet on the column on the left. You'll need to increase that processing time by the minutes on the column on the right. And that's just something to be mindful whenever you're canning. So I'll just allow the jars to process in the water bath canner, and we'll come back once they're finished. Alright, our homemade spicy pizza sauce has finished processing, so let me remove the lid here. And I'll turn the burner off. Now I'm just going to let these jars sit in the canner for about 5 minutes, and then I'll transfer them to a towel or pad in the cooling and sealing area so they can cool and the jars can seal, and then we'll have a final look at our homemade spicy pizza sauce. Alright, here we have our homemade spicy pizza sauce. This is a really bold and robust homemade pizza sauce, and I'm looking forward to using this on pizza night. One 8-ounce jar will make a really big pizza, probably a couple of pizzas, and it makes a wonderful dipping sauce for appetizers like mozzarella sticks or garlic bread and things like that as well. If you're interested in home canning or making your own pizza sauce, I hope you give this recipe a try. I also have a number of different recipes for water bath canning and pressure canning and various food preservation methods, so be sure to check those playlists out. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so yet, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. So please hit the subscribe button below, and if you enjoyed this or any other video that you watch, please be sure to give it a thumbs up as well. I hope you continue to watch my channel, The Home and Homestead, for some more homemade, homegrown, and home-style inspiration. I hope you're having a fantastic day. See you next time. Take care.